Okay, let me introduce you to what is, without a doubt, the deadliest hospital in the world. Imagine checking into a place where patients are significantly more likely to receive a fatal dose of anesthesia. They're actually more likely to die within 48 hours of surgery. The nurses and caregivers, less likely to wash their hands before treating you. And cancerous growths are way more likely to just go completely undetected. You'd probably want to warn literally everyone you know to stay far, far away from this place, right? Well, I have some bad news.
So here's the crazy part. The hospital I just described isn't some rogue, rundown facility. It's actually your local hospital. In fact, it is almost every single medical center around the globe. The only catch is the time of day. Every terrifying thing I just listed happens specifically between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I know, it sounds absolutely terrifying. But, as we're about to uncover, this is actually driven by our natural biology, which dictates these massive, steep declines in our cognitive performance, and basically sets the stage for our daily energy drains. Welcome to This Explainer. I am so excited to jump into this topic today. We are going to embark on a chronological journey through the biological and mental thieves that are actively stealing your energy every single day. If you're constantly waking up tired, or you're feeling totally depleted by the afternoon despite doing, quote-unquote, nothing, we're going to break down this exhaustion equation and show you exactly how to fix it. All right, Section 1, Waking Up, Sleep, and Chronotypes. Let's get right into it. Let's start right at the very beginning of your day, at the exact second you are jolted awake. Think about the contrast in how you wake up and how much the actual sound of your alarm dictates your energy. We tend to think a harsh, blaring beep is the only way to get out of bed. But research actually shows that melodic alarms that play music and slowly build in volume, not only reduce how tired you feel, but they actively improve your psychomotor abilities and your attention in the morning. A jarring alarm quite literally shocks your system into grogginess.
And man, that brings us to the ultimate morning trap, the snooze button. When your alarm goes off, your body is naturally trying to increase its temperature and release specific hormones to wake you up. But when you hit snooze, you are essentially telling your body to abort that entire wake-up process and just restart a brand new sleep cycle. This plunges you right back toward deep sleep. So when the alarm goes off again 10 minutes later, you experience severe sleep inertia. That's that intensely groggy, disoriented feeling. You really need to rebrand the snooze button in your mind. It's not a few extra minutes of rest, it's a harmful sleep cycle restart.
But hey, what if waking up early just feels fundamentally wrong to you? Well, consider this. 20% of the population are genetic night owls. If this is you, forcing yourself into a rigid 9-to-5 world causes what scientists call social jet lag. You are perpetually living in the wrong time zone, and that is a tremendous invisible energy drain right from the very moment you open your eyes.
Moving right along to Section 2, Daytime Fuel, Food and Drink.
So once we're finally awake and dragging ourselves to our desks, we immediately start looking for false fuels. But before you even glance at a coffee maker, get this. A mere 1.5% drop in your body's normal water level is enough to completely destroy your concentration. Just 1.5%. When you're mildly dehydrated, your blood actually thickens. This drastically slows down the nutrients and oxygen getting to your brain and your muscles. By the time you feel actively thirsty, you are already at a 2% drop. Hydration is your actual baseline fuel.
Okay, now let's talk about the fuel we all really run on, caffeine. To understand caffeine, you have to understand adenosine. Adenosine is a chemical in your brain that steadily accumulates from the moment you wake up. It builds and builds, creating pressure to make you sleepy at night. Now, caffeine doesn't magically give you energy. It acts as a disguise. It binds to your brain's receptors and artificially blocks the adenosine from even registering. But beware, with chronic use, your brain catches on. It creates more receptors, meaning you need more and more caffeine just to achieve the same baseline feeling of being awake. And this is exactly why caffeine can be so destructive to our overall energy loop. The half-life of caffeine is roughly 6 hours. Let me put that into perspective. If you drink a cup of coffee at 6 p.m. to push through some evening work, 50% of that chemical is still actively circulating in your system at midnight. It is actively blocking your sleep drive and ruining your sleep quality, virtually guaranteeing you are going to be exhausted the next day.
Which brings us to Section 3, the inevitable afternoon slump. Remember that terrifying, deadly hospital from the beginning of our explainer? Well, this biological timeline explains exactly why those errors absolutely skyrocket. You get a cortisol wake-up around 8 a.m., and your cognitive abilities steadily climb until they hit their absolute peak in the late morning, right around 11 a.m. But then, inevitably, roughly 7 hours after waking up, your alertness just plunges. This is the 2 p.m. afternoon slump. It's not laziness, it is a biological certainty. It's exactly why test scores drop in the afternoon and why your motivation just completely evaporates.
So how do we actually survive this energy drop? First things first, avoid those massive, heavy, carbohydrate-loaded lunches. Simple carbs spike your blood glucose and cause a severe sugar crash right exactly as your biological slump hits. It's a recipe for disaster. Instead, try taking a strictly 10 to 20-minute power nap, but no longer than that are you going to trigger that nasty sleep inertia we talked about earlier. Also, just walk outside for 5 minutes. Natural light and movement do absolute wonders. And finally, if you have to keep working, just switch to easy, mundane autopilot tasks. Save your heavy cognitive lifting for the morning.
Next up, Section 4, mental fatigue and overstimulation.
Now, what if your exhaustion isn't actually physical? You know that weird paradox where you feel like you've just returned from a literal war, even though you did absolutely nothing but sit on your couch all day? This happens because your brain is dealing with an addiction to stimulation. Researchers playfully call this the monkey mind that's addicted to a dopamine banana buffet. You think you're resting by lying down and endlessly scrolling through your phone, getting these little dopamine hits from likes and videos. But this is fake rest. It is a mental sugar crash waiting to happen. True rest? True rest is actually incredibly boring. It's quiet. It's staring at the clouds or just watching a bug walk across the grass.
And you know, the science behind that boredom is just fascinating. Your brain has this almost magical system called the default mode network. And here's the kicker. It only turns on when the brain finally gets complete silence and a total lack of stimulation. This network is what actually allows your mind to reflect, recharge, and heal. But our constant phone notifications and digital noise keep this network permanently switched off. So listen, you aren't lazy. You are operating on a low battery brain that is severely overstimulated. So here is a highly structured, science-backed monkey's reset plan to help cure that mental fatigue. Step 1. Rebrand boredom. If an activity feels boring, it is probably exactly what's helping your brain heal. Step 2. Touch grass. And I mean literally. Go outside and find some, because nature doesn't have notification bells. Step 3. Enforce one completely screenless hour a day. You can draw, walk, or honestly just sit there. And Step 4. Respect your mental energy. It is not an infinite resource, folks. Treat it like the precious commodity it is.
And finally, Section 5, better habits for deep sleep.
As we look at how to close out the day, we first have to eliminate the sleep killers. Let's dispel a huge myth right now, the evening nightcap. While alcohol might act as a sedative and kind of help you fall asleep faster, it actively destroys your restorative REM sleep and almost guarantees you'll wake up in the second half of the night. Also, checking the clock when you wake up in the dark. Don't do it. It causes anxiety and spikes your cortisol, making it literally impossible to fall back asleep. Gadgets in the bedroom stimulate your brain with light, and lying awake for over 30 minutes, that just trains your brain to associate your bed with stress. Get up, leave the room, and do something relaxing instead.
To truly heal, you need to implement these sleep builders. Try taking a warm shower or bath before bed. As your body cools down afterward, it beautifully mimics the natural temperature drop you need for sleep. Keep your room dark and cool. Exercise regularly to deepen your sleep quality. Just, not right before hitting the sheets. But above all else, please notice that first habit, sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at the exact same time every single day, yes, even on weekends, is the absolute holy grail of energy management. Your body absolutely craves that clockwork routine.
So, we've covered the science of melodic alarms, the hidden trap of caffeine, the unavoidable biological reality of the afternoon slump, and the profound need for true, boring mental rest. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Stop blaming your exhaustion purely on the number of hours you spent in bed. You have to look at the whole equation. So tell me, what single habit are you going to change tonight to reclaim your energy tomorrow?